Perel, and then we have, I can't pronounce this one, Vin. I'm just gonna call it Vil for now as the version, and the Benmont version. Both Perel and Bont version, don't know if I'm pronouncing any of those words right, starts the story with Belle having 6 or 12 siblings, and her being the most beautiful one of all. In short, they call her Beauty for being the most beautiful one. Or, in this case, they call her Belle in French. Her father, not an inventor like the Disney version, is actually a merchant who has an rich fortune, but unfortunately he lost in a big shipwreck, and now is poor, with all the family living in a shack in a small town. To make ends meet with the poor profits they have, the children have to work and do chores each day in the house. What is their dismay? They hate it so much. Except for Belle, who actually seems to enjoy doing her chore, which is spinning the spinning wheel, and she loves singing and while doing it, which infuriates her 2 sisters, who have been jealous of her ever since she's been born. With that in mind, they are jealous of how she is so happy all the time with this. One day, her father goes out on a business trip and asks each of his children what they would want as come back with as a souvenir. All the children ask for the usual stuff, jewels, dresses, all except for Belle, who just wanted her father's safe return. But the sisters were so jealous of her, they insisted on her getting a souvenir. So she decided to get a single rose. So the father sets off on his trip, but unfortunately he ends up in a lot of an obstacle, where in some versions he is lost in the forest, or he is lost in a shipwreck. Jeez, how unlucky can you get? Well, anyway, either way, he either washes up on shore or gets lost in the forest, and he ends up finding the castle where the beast lives. Once he seeks shelter inside, and once he gets in, he is greeted by so many things: dinner, food, a roaring fireplace, a big giant chair just for him. Wow. He even stays there and falls asleep, and more food arrives. Even milkshakes. Wow. Wow. Is it just me, or is the beast actually very nice around here? Or heck, even the objects are doing this. It could be implied that the enchanted objects are doing this for him. But either way, Belle's father goes outside and is going to go home when he sees a rose bush. He plucks it, which infuriates the beast, and comes out. Angered by him, Belle's father explains the situation, that he needs it for his daughter that he wants. And he's been going a long way and all that stuff. The beast agrees on one condition, though, that he brings back one of his children as prisoners by being a daughter of his. Father goes along with this and goes back home and tells all his children. The brothers were like, "Hey, let's kill the beast," like Gaston pretty much. The sisters could care less about his misfortune and just doesn't listen. Belle, on the other hand, is so sad and so caring of her father, that she decides to take him in her place. So she becomes the prisoner of the beast, unfortunately. When she gets there, though, she is greeted by fireworks of her initials. Wow. And she is greeted there. Every day, she is treated very fairly and good all throughout. The attendant opts to take care of her all the time and everything. Everything seems to be right. She's allowed to wander around the castle, no problem. No west wing, barely an inconvenience at all. She can actually just wander around the whole place like no problem. She is treated like a queen. Even the Beast has a book that says the rules to treat her fairly and nicely, about how to treat Belle like a good. I was saying, wow, are we sure that the Beast is under a spell here? Like, geez, because he seems so kind. Wow. Anyway, Belle is wandering around the whole castle, infatuated with the castle. And that's what she does every day, pretty much. Every day, she's also greeted by a dinner with great music playing, and a great meal as well. And the ending of every dinner always ends the same, with her talking to the Beast. She says that he's the most kindest person she ever met. Throughout the whole time, they are infatuated with each other more and more. But Beast always asks her the same question. Will you marry me? And will you sleep with me? Belle replies with no. At first, she was afraid if the Beast wouldn't like if she says no. But the Beast reassures her that she is allowed to say the answer she wants to say, and that he would not get mad at her at all for saying no. It's exactly what he did. He was okay with it, completely. Of course, this goes on every day, pretty much, until one day. Of course, this also happens every day as well. She misses her father. No problem at all. She has a mirror where she can look at him every day. But one day, her father gets very sick for missing Belle so much that Belle just had to come home. She explains this to the Beast, and the Beast, well, this is what they said. He promised her to let her go, because she knows that would make her happy. On one condition, though, that she must come back for him in a week, because if she doesn't, he will die from loneliness of missing her. So Belle promised to come back with that. So she leaves, leaving Beast with the Beast leaves her a magical ring that transports her back to her home. Also, while during this, when the father left to go back home, he was given a treasure chest from the Beast. Wow, what a generous guy. And Belle, too, was given all this as well. And a dress, too, to boot. But she wasn't allowed to share this with anyone. She really wanted to give it to her family, but she decided against it because she realizes that the Beast really wanted this dress and many other things just for herself and just for her entirely. But anyway, she was home and she was greeted by her sisters. Sisters being jealous, being home, they hatch a plan to make her stay longer than she should have been. Wow, they are so jealous of her, huh? Not to mention that in the other versions, they were about to get married when she appeared, and now their husbands were infatuated with her. Yeah, that grows them way more and more jealous of her. So they keep her distracted and keeping her longer than she should have been, leaving the Beast to feel more sad for her and more missing her more and more. Suddenly, one day, over a week, Belle has a dream of the Beast dying. In fact, every day throughout the whole book, she has dreams of the Beast. First, she has a dream of the fairy telling her that looks to be deceiving. She also has a dream about this handsome man that she falls in love with as well. But during this particular dream, she saw the Beast dying and realizing that she loves him. So she comes back for him with the ring and returns back to the castle. She quickly rushes over to the couch where they usually meet. She waits for him for countless hours. She never comes. Worried about this, Belle seeks the castle all over the place, calling his name, worried about him, hoping that he might have died. Eventually, she finds him at the garden, lying dead in the rose bush. She comes over to him, throws water on top of him. He was able to come back to life now she saw her once again, happy as can be. He explains that if you leave once again, he will die of loneliness. But if he returns, he'll be happy as anything and stay. This finally makes Belle realizes that she loves the Beast more than anything else, and that she would hate to see him die. So, she decides to marry him, finally. With this in mind, the castle gets restored, and fireworks appear in the night sky. The Beast turns back into a handsome man that the Belle dreams about in her dreams. With that, the Beast explains that he's been under a spell by an evil fairy this whole time. Also, during the same version of this, the Beast's mother was during the war, and he really wanted him to get married. So he sent it but the Beast refuses. And when he refused, his mother brings a evil fairy to turn him into a hideous beast until he gets married. You see, that was the way to break the spell. The only way he could break the spell was if he got married. That's why he kept asking Belle to marry him a lot of times. But anyway, they were married, and the fairy from Belle's dream as well came back. I don't think this is the same fairy, because if she was, I think she's the evil one. This is the good one, apparently, that tried to help Belle, I guess, in this way. Think of her as a Mrs. Potts, if you will, only with magical powers. Or the Enchantress with being good, I guess you could say. But either way, this fairy brings back Belle's family into the castle and stay with them forever and ever, and together, Belle and Beast live on. But wait, the sisters were also jealous of them still, so the fairy turns them into stone as statues, watching the Belle and Beast forever as statues. Forever. The end. And that is the story of Beauty and the Beast. Sure, the tale of all its time, huh? With the fact that the Beast in the story is actually a really nice guy. To be fair, with all the things he did for Belle, I would like to live in his castle too. No kidding. He's not as bad as one would seem in this book. You'd think he'd be really worse or bad even, but no, he's actually really nice and comfortable to be with. And the spell, not by him being mean, but more like by him being just under a spell. Who knew that this has been so different compared to the original? What'd you guys think? Tell me your thoughts in comments below. And please try to leave a link and subscribe to more of the Terror Zone. And I'll see you next time. Next time we'll look into something more darker than any story we ever looked into. And one of my favorite stories of all time. We're looking into Lion King. But hold your water yet. It is definitely one to be talking about. It's way darker than any story I've ever encountered within. And what do you know? It has different versions as well. But what we're about to tell you could have been much worse than you already could have imagined. As we look into the story of Lion King in our next episode. Please stay tuned.